Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am coming to you live from Walter Brown Arena on the campus of Boston University in Boston, Massachusetts. Here to bring you today's Division I Varsity High School Boys Hockey Contest between the visiting Wellesley High School Raiders and the hosting Brookline High Warriors. This promises to be a very interesting Saturday matinee matchup between these two in-division rivals here between Brookline and Wellesley. Wellesley coming off a season where they finished as the 14th seed in Division I and were ultimately eliminated in an upset in the round of 16 of the MIAA tournament, losing to 19th seeded Franklin. Brookline, meanwhile, missed the playoffs altogether after finishing with a 9-11 overall record and not being able to secure a chance to make it into the play-in round. See the officials bringing out the nets, and I didn't even see the Zamboni come out. Looks like the players are just coming out. We got about 6 minutes on the pregame clock. Looks like we're getting ready to go as here come the Wellesley High Raiders coming out in their black jerseys with white jersey numbers and red trim. Let's read through the Wellesley roster real quick as they do their pregame warm-up skates. In order of jersey number for the Raiders, we have a senior, number 1, Mike Messor. A freshman, number 2, Noah Myers. A freshman, number 3, Will Cooney. A junior, number 4, Max McDonough. A sophomore, number 5, Patrick Maxwell. A junior, number 6, Owen Hamburger. A senior, number 7, Robbie Marshall. A sophomore, number 8, Aiden Riley. A senior co-captain, number 9, Sean Maxwell. A sophomore, number 10, Brady Ellis. A senior, number 11, Christian Modigliano. A senior, number 12, Kellen Sharp. A freshman, number 14, Raphael Aberbach. A sophomore, number 15, Brody Sharp. A junior, number 16, Diego Demio. A senior, number 17, Toby Kelleher. A junior, number 18, Kyle Parker. A senior, number 19, Bo Staley. A junior, number 21, Max Palladino. A junior, number 22, Nils Tellender. A senior, number 23, Chris Bertolini. A sophomore, number 26, Cole Adams. A senior, number 27, Alden Turner. A sophomore, number 28, Teddy Yang. A senior, number 29, Reagan O'Neill. A freshman, number 30, Tucker Monroe. A junior, number 31, Kevin Pezelich. And a junior, number 33, Gabe Aberbach. Head coach of the Wellesley High boys hockey team is Paul Donato. And now with about 4 minutes on the pregame clock, let's take a look at the lineup for the Brookline High Warriors. First off, a freshman, number 2, Jack Herman. A senior alternate captain, number 3, Marcus Pace. A junior captain, number 4, Noah Gurdon. A senior captain, number 5, Steve McDougall. A freshman, number 6, Greg Aptekman. A sophomore, number 7, Connor Erdman. A junior, number 8, Tommy May. A sophomore, number 9, Max Guo. A sophomore, number 10, Jace Gongadaran. A junior, number 11, Seth Walpowitz. A junior alternate captain, number 12, Henry Ames. A sophomore, number 13, Grady Ames. A senior, number 16, Jason O'Brien. A senior captain, number 17, Emmett Tian. A sophomore, number 18, Thomas O'Brien. A sophomore, number 19, Ryan Wilson. A freshman, number 21, Owen Lacey. A senior, number 22, Matthew Murphy. A sophomore, number 23, Dylan Katz. A senior, number 27, James Redding. A sophomore, number 30, Jack O'Connor. And a freshman, number 31, Craig Haas. Head coach of the Brookline High boys hockey team is Anthony Sarno. So that's the roster for the hosting Warriors today. It is Brookline versus Wellesley. We got just over 2 minutes on the pregame clock. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan from Walter Brown Arena, and you are watching BHS Hockey.
Oh my gosh, don't blink! Now it's stolen away by McDougall. McDougall passes back, a shot by Sherman, he scores! It's recovered by Jordan. Jordan sends it for the middle, deflected. Oh, juicy chance for Wells, and that one's in! Looking around, long pass out to James Redding, launches one, in! James Redding!
Now it's a chase for the puck. Caleb Weldon gets there, fires, juicy rebound, score! Mayfield-Sheehan with the hat trick! All right, that was our little pregame introduction video. Hope you enjoyed that. And now, as we're in the closing 30 seconds of pregame, let's take a look at the line combinations for Brookline today. This is based on the line combinations they had in their season opener against Weymouth on Wednesday. First, looking at the forward lines. The first forward line featuring two of their captains, number 5, Steve McDougall, and number 17, Mayfield-Sheehan, with number 7, Connor Erdman, a sophomore, filling in that left wing spot on the first line. Second line, sophomore Grady Ames returns after a solid freshman season as the second line center. He is flanked by senior alternate captain Marcus Pace on his left and fellow sophomore right winger number 9 Max Guo on his right. Forward line 3 has junior alternate captain Henry Ames in the center, helming a line featuring 2 wings who are having their first varsity season with the team, number 6 Greg Aptekman and number 10 Jace Gongadarin. Those are the forward lines. Looking at the defensive pairings, on line 1, we have number 18, a sophomore Thomas O'Brien, pairing with the junior captain, number 4, Noah Gurdon. And on the second defensive line, we have the senior, number 27. He was number 14 on the alternate jersey, so I got a little mixed up there. But number 27, James Redding, along with number 23, Dylan Katz. So those are the expected line combinations for Brookline here today. Again, just educated guesses based on the line combinations they had on Wednesday, as the PA announcer is taking over to give us the intros to this game. Now here comes the starting lineup for the Wellesley High Raiders. First off, the captain, number 9, Sean Maxwell. Next up, number 11, another senior, Christian Mottaliano. A sophomore this time, number 15, Brody Sharp. A junior, number 18, Kyle Parker. And then a junior, number 33, Gabe Aberbach. And between the pipes, we've got a freshman, number 30, Tucker Monroe. Now here come the starters for the Brookline High Warriors. First off, a junior captain, number 4, Noah Gurdon. Another captain, number 5, Steve McDougall. A sophomore, number 7, Connor Erdman. Another captain, number 17, Emmett Tien. And then a sophomore, number 18, Thomas O'Brien. And in goal, the freshman, number 31, Craig Haas. So Brookline very much sticking with the same first-line combinations on offense and defense that they had on Wednesday, and sticking with their same starting netminder. And now here comes the national anthem. All right, that was the playing of our national anthem as we get ready for the opening puck drop. Thank you once again, everyone, for tuning in to today's live stream of this Division I varsity high school boys hockey contest between the hosting Brookline High Warriors and the visiting Wellesley High Raiders. Remember, as always, if you enjoy this live stream, be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming live streams, which will include all Brookline High hockey home games, both boys and girls, this winter. And as always, I encourage you to participate in the live chat for whatever reason. If you just want to say go Brookline or go Wellesley, if you want to shout out your favorite player, if you want to comment on the action or tell us where you're tuning in from, or if you notice me flubbing the pronunciation of a player's name, or if I've got a jersey number wrong on one of my rosters, or if you notice any technical difficulties with the video or the audio, again, I encourage you to let me know any of that in the live chat. As we get ready for the opening puck drop, Brookline sending out their first lines on both offense and defense. The McDougall-Tien-Erdman line is matched up at center ice against the line of Brody Sharp and Sean Maxwell and Christian Modigliano. Here we go. Opening faceoff is won by Wellesley. It goes back to Gabe Oberbach. Oberbach sends it up. It deflects, and it's controlled by Sharp. Sharp skating puts it into the Brookline end as it goes around the boards. Noah Gurdon gets there first. He sends it around the boards, finds Erdman, who taps it along. Bit off the mark, but Erdman recovers, sends a pass through, misses again. This one is recovered by Kyle Parker, sends it into the Brookline end where it's taken by Gurdon. He sends it up ice, gets it into the neutral zone. McDougall pushes it forward. Race to the corner. Tien had it for a second. Now he's wrestling with Parker for it. Parker trying to move it. McDougall walls him off. McDougall sends it around the boards. And Erdman gets there first. Erdman sends it back around the boards. McDougall recovers it. McDougall decides to send it back to O'Brien, who swings it across for Gurdon. Gurdon sends it forward. Oh, just broken up, almost collected by Tien. Instead, Oberbach takes it around the back, swings it around for Parker. Parker sends it around back to Oberbach. Oberbach lost control of it because of the official, stolen away by Tien. Shot goes wide. Rebound collected by Gurdon. He tries to send around the boards, walled off by Modigliano, lifted into the neutral zone. Counterattack, tapped ahead. Maxwell is walled off, but it gets knocked, almost recovered by Sharp. Instead, knocked away by Gurdon, taken by Tien. Tien skating with it, passes up to McDougall. McDougall lifts it into the Wellesley end for a line change. Now moved up, almost taken by Guo. Instead, Redding sends it into the corner where it's moved around. Weird deflection off the official. Pace almost got a centering pass there. Instead, it is recovered by the Raiders. That attempted clear broken up by Max Guo, taken by Marcus Pace, sent off the boards. Guo tried to take it, being harassed by number 4, Max McDonough. McDonough had it for a second, knocked away by Pace. Grady Ames was wrestling for it, but couldn't get there. Now a turnover taken by Grady Ames. Ames whiffs on the shot, recontrols it, loses it again. Shot by Katz is saved by Tucker Monroe. Dylan Katz with the first shot on net of the day. Stopped by the freshman netminder Tucker Monroe. It's a battle of the freshmen in net today. Tucker Monroe for Wellesley, Craig Haas for Brookline. Face-off, scrummed for, pushed off the back. Parker takes it, sends it up for number 22, Nils Tellender. Tellender sends it up, gets away from number 7, Robbie Marshall. Race to the puck, and getting there first is Wellesley's number 27, Alden Turner. Sent to the corner, wrestling for it. Henry Ames comes out with it, sends it around the boards, taken by number 21, Owen Lacey. A new addition to the third line. As this one moves around, it's taken by Katz. Katz sends it up. That misses everybody, and that's going to be icing. So Brookline running another freshman as their left wing on the third line, Owen Lacey. That position, I believe, was taken by another freshman, Greg Aptekman, in the season opener. So Brookline clearly trying out some of their different youngsters down on that third line. Face-off won by Wellesley. Shot goes wide. Recovered by Erdman, sent back to Gurdon, sent off the side of the net, but it's taken around the back by Thomas O'Brien, sends it around, taken by Tien. Tien sends it off the boards. McDougall checks a man into the boards as it moves into the neutral zone. Now it's taken by Kelleher. Kelleher gets stood up by Noah Gurdon. And now out of the scrum, it's McDougall with the puck, sends it around the boards to O'Brien. O'Brien lifts it. Parker couldn't wall it off. It's into the neutral zone where it's taken by Tien. Tapped ahead for Erdman. Erdman on the attack. Tries to send a pass through. It's deflected away. Recovered now by Erdman. Erdman backhand. Too much traffic. It's knocked away. Attempted clear. Walled off by Erdman. Given to Tien. Tien tried a shot. Walled off by Parker. Loose puck goes back to Gurdon. Gurdon fires. Deflected into the air. Nobody there to knock it home, and Oberbach tries to clear it. Taken by Erdman, sends a pass through the slot. Nobody there. Taken now by O'Brien. Long shot, almost deflected, but not quite there. Gurdon keeps it in the attack. Gets it to McDougall. McDougall pushes it to the corner. Sent around the boards. O'Brien trying to keep it on the attack. Now Parker takes it. Parker manages to get it into the neutral zone, but Noah Gurdon was waiting for it. Pass across to Tien. Tien on the attack. Passes across. Oh, just broken up. Tien recovers. Weaves around. Tien a chance. Oh, walled off by Monroe. McDougall tried to get it off the rebound, but couldn't get it out of the air. Maxwell now racing on the counterattack. He's walled off by a pair of Brookline players, including Redding and I believe Tien. Around the boards it goes. Wellesley on the attack now. but it's cleared out to the neutral zone. Good effort there by McDougall. Sent back into the neutral zone. Coming across number 15, Sharp. He gets leveled by Max Guo. Almost sets up the one-timer for Maxwell. Now a long shot from the defenseman, well high and wide. Recovered shot saved by Haas. Redding pins Monteliano to the boards, and now a scrum for the puck ensues. Bit of miscommunication. Now Sharp trying to send it back. He's walled off by McDougall. McDougall with the puck sends it off the boards. Guo trying to move it through the neutral zone, can't do it. Lifted high and taken out of the air by Haas. He drops it off for Dylan Katz, given to Redding. Redding sends it up, now taken back, shot saved by Haas. Almost a juicy rebound, but not quite there for Turner after the shot by Patrick Maxwell. Brookline again trying to clear, it's being walled off. Turner almost had it for a second, coming out of the scrum. Almost a juicy pass, but not quite. Patrick Maxwell takes it a shot, blocked by number 13, Grady Ames. Attempted lift, it bounces along into the neutral zone where it's taken by number 22, Nils Tellender. Sent into the attack end, but sent right back to the neutral zone by Redding. Race to the puck. Guo pokes it forward, but it's going to be taken by number 6, Owen Hamburger. Passed up to Robbie Marshall. Marshall looking for a pass, aimed at Turner. Turner pokes it along, gets it to Marshall. Shot saved by Haas. Marshall recovers. Sending it around the boards. Gurdon with it, sends it to the corner. Ultimately taken by Parker. Parker pinned to the boards by Henry Ames. Couldn't get it, now it's moved up, I believe by Jack Herman. He gets it up to Lacey, but Lacey couldn't keep track of it as Parker takes it back. Pass off the mark, taken by Gurdon. Moved through the neutral zone, intercepted by Marshall, and Marshall could not time the approach well enough. That's an offsides. So we saw another different freshman on that third line. That was number 2, Jack Herman. So Brookline really experimenting with that third forward line, trying to figure out how best to add depth behind their first 2 lines. Off the faceoff, that's sent around the boards. Redding couldn't corral it. Instead, it's corral pass. Almost a juicy chance for number 3, Will Cooney. Cooney now recovers it. Backhand misses wide. Now recovered, a shot blocked, and a chance. McDougall off to the races, but it's cleared out by number 4, Max McDonough. Sent to the Brookline end where it's taken by Redding. Sent around the boards. Hard deflection, but ultimately taken by Redding. Passed around to Katz. Katz tried to get out of there, taken away by Kelleher. Almost a dangerous pass to the slot for number 8, Aiden Riley, but he couldn't get his stick on it cleanly. Pushed back to the Brookline end where Redding takes it, passes to Katz. Katz sends a long pass through off the skate of Erdman. Erdman manages to backhand it into the Wellesley end. Going to be chased down by Patrick Maxwell. Lifted all the way down to the Brookline end, and that's going to be icing. Plenty of excitement in these opening minutes. 7:41 on the clock here in the first period. We got our first shout out in the live chat from Marlene Lyons. Go Dylan Katz. Wellesley end face-off. Corralled by Brookline for a second. Marcus Pace trying to stay with it. Shot saved by Monroe. Sean Maxwell tried to clear it. Blocked by Pace, but recovered by Parker, I believe. Sent across. Oh, a takeaway by Grady Ames. Ames couldn't get the backhand pass off. Recovered out the back by Pace. Passes it along for Ames. Ames fighting. Tries to get a pass off. And we got a stoppage. Is this our first penalty? Nobody's going to the box. Nobody's going to some kind of delay. Maybe it went off the netting. Either way, face-off ultimately controlled by Parker. He sends it around the boards for a waiting Sean Maxwell, who passes it back to Aberbach. Now around the boards to Parker. Parker, long pass up, finds Maxwell. Sean Maxwell on the approach, gains the blue, tries a backhand pass. It's blocked by the skate of Tommy O'Brien. Taken now by Guo. Guo gains the blue line, but he is walled off by Parker, and the puck is taken by Aberbach. Backhand pass around to Parker. Now Parker sends it across to Aberbach. Aberbach sends it back to Parker. Parker now sends it back to Aberbach. And now a pass up. As they move that puck, it's tapped ahead for Montaliano. Montaliano cut off by Noah Gurdon, and the puck is turned away by Haas, and the net came off its setting, and so we're going to put that back while we set up a Brookline end face-off with 6:33 on the clock here in the first. Face-off is won by Marshall, but he's walled off by Haas. Katz sends it around the boards, taken by Redding. Redding pass up to Gangadarin. His pass intercepted by Turner. Deflected, now stolen away. A pass, tries to kick it, but he couldn't corral it as it goes wide. A big chance for Marshall, could not finish. Turner now coming around, long pass, goes right to Lacey. Lacey tries to backhand it ahead, cut off by Patrick Maxwell, but now fighting back through the neutral zone was Katz, now stolen back by Marshall. Marshall, pass over to the near side of Turner, now pushed ahead by Patrick Maxwell, taken back by Tien. Tien off the line change, gains the blue line, skating around, waiting for reinforcements, tries to pass back, broken up by Marshall. Taken by Gurdon, passed across for Redding. Redding lifts it all the way around the boards it goes. Gurdon keeps it on the attack, long shot turned away by Monroe. Recovery in the corner, being scrummed for. McDougall taps it around for Erdman. Erdman sends a backhand around the boards, taken by Redding. Redding swings it across for Gurdon. Gurdon pass for Tien. Quick back to Gurdon. Redding saves it from an offsides as it's taken now by Tien. Tien, long shot saved by Monroe. .5:13 on the clock here in the first. There's been plenty of exciting chances for both teams, but neither one has found the game's first goal just yet. Face-off is won by Wellesley, controlled by number 16, Diego Demio. Pass up to Will Cooney. Cooney gets it ahead. Oh, losing his footing, and they have to retreat. After slipping and falling was Aiden Riley. Brookline moves it up to the neutral zone. Guo on the approach, gains the blue line. Pushes it into the corner where it's scrummed for. Pace gets the stick on it, gets it to Grady Ames. Ames gets pinned to the boards. Scrumming for the puck still. Ames tried to pass from his belly, couldn't get it through to a target though. Brookline stays with it, sent to the corner to Ames. Now back to Gurdon. Gurdon, long shot saved by Monroe. Tucker Monroe keeping busy between the pipes for the Raiders here in the first period. Still no score with 4:35 on the clock. Face off, corralled by Parker. Parker sends it over to Aberbach. Aberbach lifts it, gets into the neutral zone where it's taken by Sharp. The Cat slipped a bit. Sharp making his approach. Misses it wide. Might have been saved by Haas. What a stretch. Recovered by Parker. Long shot saved by Haas off the deflection. Now a scrum for the puck taken by Parker. Parker passes to an open Aberbach. Approach shot walled off by Redding. Aberbach passes around the back to Sean Maxwell, and he is poked away by Katz. Brookline trying desperately to clear against the Wellesley first line. Parker recovers, long shot blocked by his own teammate Sharp. Redding backhands it off the boards, kept in the attack zone. Oh, but recovered by Lacey. Lacey passes it into the neutral. Sean Maxwell takes it, launches it back into the Brookline end. Redding takes it, sent up to Lacey. Lacey tries to clear it. Aberbach keeps it in play. Maxwell taps it for Montaliano. Montaliano trying to fight through, just poked away by Katz. Sent around the boards where it's taken by Sharp. Sharp sends it back to Parker. Parker looking pass. Oh, missed on the one-timer was Montaliano. Montaliano recovers it. Taps it along the back for Maxwell. Maxwell looking around. Sending it around the boards for Sharp. Sharp coming out the back. Sharp passes it back to Maxwell. Maxwell in the corner, gets a little trapped. Ames comes out with it. Henry Ames up to Lacey. Lacey lifts it out for a long clear, but this is going to go for icing. The first forward line for Wellesley against the third forward line for Brookline. And you could tell that almost looked like a power play there. But Brookline manages to stand tall and not allow any scores as they make the line change. 2:58 on the clock here in the first. Face-off scrummed for, loose puck sent to the back where McDougall gets there first. Around the back, walled off by Patrick Maxwell, sends a shot, saved by Haas. Almost a juicy rebound, but turned away by Gurdon. Passed up to Erdman. Erdman gets it out to the neutral zone just barely. It's sent back to the Brookline end where it's taken by Gurdon. He lifts it, bouncing along into the Wellesley end where it's going to be taken by Patrick Maxwell. Sent off the boards. Turner, his pass deflected by McDougall, and it's going to be covered up by Monroe. .230 on the clock here in the first period. Still no score. And bit of a false start on the face-off. And so they're going to send off Robbie Marshall and bring in Alden Turner to face McDougall in the circle. And Turner wins the face-off, but McDougall chases it down around the back. Fighting to stay with it. He gets stood up by Patrick Maxwell. Scrum for the puck, ultimately sent around the boards where it's taken by Turner. Turner lifts it into the neutral zone. Waiting for it was number 22, Nils Tellender. Pass over for Marshall. Marshall tries an extra pass, but too much traffic. It's broken up. Brookline skating on the counter. This is Tien. Tien working his way through, gets to McDougall. McDougall pass to and up and Erdman. Oh, tried the extra pass, broken up, taken back by Tellender. Tellender sends it up to Turner. Turner's pass deflected away, taken by Erdman. Erdman sends it off the skate of Turner, and it's taken by Patrick Maxwell. Maxwell sends it way up, and it's going to be walled by Haas, and he's going to cover it up due to the pressure from Tellender. .141. And oh, I think, do we have our first penalty? This is going to go against Noah Gurdon. Noah Gurdon going to get the 2-minute penalty. And so Wellesley will have the first power play of the day. And this will bleed into the second period as it's a 2-minute penalty with only 1:41 left on the clock here in the first. So unless Wellesley scores before period's end, we will start the second period on a man advantage for the visitors. Pass back to Parker. Parker over to Sean Maxwell, winds up and fires, misses wide. Rebound almost poked through, but recovered by Pace. Pace lifts it. It's deflected, but it does bounce into the neutral zone. Oh, taking out on the attack. Grady Ames. Ames! Oh, what a save by Monroe! Great hustle by Grady Ames off the weirdly bouncing puck to create a shorthanded chance. But what a splay out for the save by the freshman netminder Tucker Monroe. Both freshman netminders today putting on a show early in this one. Face-off. Controlled by the Raiders. This is Parker. Parker passes it. Moving up with it is Sharp. Pass up to Sean Maxwell. Maxwell skating down the near side. Pass back to Parker. Parker across to Sharp. Now back to Parker. Parker at the point. Surveying against a stickless McDougall who slides down and blocks it. Sean Maxwell passes over to Montaliano. Montaliano back to Sharp. Now back to the point to Parker. Parker over to Sean Maxwell. McDougall still without his skate, and that one is saved by Haas as the players go tumbling at the end of the play. How about the grit of Steve McDougall? No stick, and just putting his body on the line to play whatever defense he could. Face off is won by Brookline, and James Redding lifts it all the way down to the Wellesley end. Monroe controls it, sends it around the boards. Chasing it down is Sean Maxwell. Maxwell making his approach, gains the blue. Pulls up. Now looking around, pass back to Parker at the point. Parker back to Maxwell. Maxwell thought about it, decided against it. Back to Parker at the point. Parker quick pass for Sharp. Quick pass for Maxwell. Couldn't corral it. Maxwell pass almost broken up, but Parker takes it. Parker skating with it. Shot turned wide. Recovered out the back by Tellender. Tried to pass for Maxwell. Couldn't get a clean shot off, and that will end the first period. No score at the end of one here at Walter Brown Arena. The second period will start with a 19-second power play for Wellesley, as Noah Gurdon will start the second period in the box for another 19 seconds. But for now, at the first intermission, Brookline 0, Wellesley 0. And during this first intermission, I'd like to take a moment for a local charity spotlight. I'd like to tell you about the Brookline Community Foundation. For over 100 years, the Brookline Community Foundation has been a trusted partner, supporting Brookline by investing in organizations and initiatives that create opportunity and promote equity for everyone who lives, learns, works, and plays in our community. Among the foundation's many grant programs is the BCF Scholarship Fund for Brookline High School, which provides graduating BHS students with scholarships to help fund post-secondary education. To date, 81 BHS students have received scholarships from this fund to help them as they build their futures. Your support is crucial to supporting Brookline youth as they embark on the next steps in their educational journeys. Visit brooklinecommunity.org or call 617-566-4442 to learn more about the BCF Scholarship Fund for Brookline High School and the many other grants and initiatives the Brookline Community Foundation supports so that you can help make a difference right here in Brookline. Once again, brooklinecommunity.com or call 617-566-4442. And remember, as always, you can find all the information that you need about our local charity spotlight, the Brookline Community Foundation, down in the description section down below. You'll see a link to their website and the phone number as well, so you can find out more about how you can support them and the great causes that they pursue. But for now, we are scoreless after one here at Walter Brown. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I'm going to take a break off the mic, but I will be back with the second period. Stay tuned. Hello again, back on the mic. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, coming to you live from Walter Brown Arena on the campus of Boston University in Boston, Massachusetts. Bringing you live coverage of today's Division I Varsity High School Boys Hockey Contest between the hosting Brookline High Warriors and the visiting Wellesley High Raiders. No score as we enter the second period. Though not without a fair share of chances on both sides. Plenty of great defensive highlights. Among the biggest ones, the Wellesley freshman netminder Tucker Monroe splayed out to stop a breakaway shorthanded shot by Brookline's Grady Ames. And on the other side, Brookline captain Steve McDougall, after his stick snapped in two during a defensive set, stayed out there just using his body to block shots instead. This second period will start with a 19-second power play for the Raiders as Brookline continues serving a 2-minute penalty to number 4, Noah Gurdon. One interesting thing to note as we get ready for the second period, as we see the first we see the players coming out for a brief warm-up skate before getting the second period going. But one tiny observation, you can tell even through the camera that there's a couple of spots right around the slot and the crease over on the net that Wellesley will be defending here in the second period. A small spot that the Zamboni missed during the intermission, and a spot where I think the official kind of skidded a little too hard on his skates when bringing the net over to its spot. I don't know how, if at all, that will affect things here in the second period, but this certainly promises to continue being a thrilling contest as it has been so far. Remember, if you enjoy this live stream, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming live streams, including all BHS hockey home games this winter, both boys and girls. And if you got anything you'd like to say, I encourage you to say it in the live chat. Comment on the action, shout out your favorite player, let us know where you're tuning in from, or let me know if I'm flubbing the pronunciation of anyone's names. Whatever reason you might have, I encourage the audience participation. Back in the net for Brookline will be freshman Craig Haas, matched up against another rookie netminder, Wellesley freshman Tucker Monroe. Both Frosch goalies were, I would say, pretty impressive in that first period. Looks like both teams are going to send out their first forward lines. For Brookline, McDougall and Tian. Oh, wait, no, I forgot. It's a power play. So this is a 19-second power play for the Raiders here to start this period. As Kyle Parker passes it up to Brody Sharp, who gains the blue line, makes his approach, tries to weave his way through. Too much traffic, but he recovers it out the back, passes it out to Christian Montaliano. Montaliano fires a shot, misses wide, and that hits the netting. And just as the penalty ends, the play is blown dead. Noah Gurdon back out onto the ice. So no score for Wellesley on the power play that bridged the first and second period, and we're going to have a Brookline end face-off. Face-off is ultimately corralled by Sean Maxwell, sent around the boards where it's taken by Tommy O'Brien. Given over to Noah Gurdon. Gurdon tries to lift it out. Montaliano blocks it off. Now it's smushed against the boards. McDougall tries to clear, and Parker couldn't quite keep it from getting into the neutral zone. Now a backhand pass knocked away from Sharp, knocked back into the air by Parker. Ultimately deflects back to Gabe Aberbach, and do we have a delayed penalty? We got some kind of stoppage here. And this is going to go down to the Brookline end for a face-off. Nobody go into the box. Face-off is won by Wellesley. Aberbach sends it around the boards where it's ultimately taken by Sharp. Sharp gains the blue line, gets tripped from behind. That's going to be a delayed penalty. And Brookline is going right back on the penalty kill. Headed to the box this time will be number 18, Thomas O'Brien. 2 minutes for tripping. And once again, the Raiders on the power play. Face-off is won by Wellesley. That's Patrick Maxwell giving it over to Alden Turner. Turner coming around, shot goes wide. Recovered by Robbie Marshall. Pass back to Patrick Maxwell. Given back to Marshall. Back to Maxwell. The one-timer goes high. Almost recovered by Maxwell, but it took a weird skip over his stick. Poking at it was Marcus Pace. Lost his stick as Wellesley resets. Turner across the blue line. Manages to stay with it and send it around the boards. It's sent back to Maxwell. Maxwell over to Turner. Whiffs on the one-timer. Recovered. Sent back to Turner. Now back to the point to Maxwell. Long shot blocked. Weird bounce, and that one is knocked in. Toby Kelleher with the power play score to get the Raiders on the board. That puck was bouncing like a basketball through the crease there as Craig Haas desperately tried to block it, but I mean, forget a weird floating knuckle puck. That one was bouncing like a ping pong ball out there. So goal is scored by Toby Kelleher. Assist at least to Patrick Maxwell. Might be a secondary assist, not entirely sure. Aberbach controls it around the back, trying to fend off the forecheck, stolen away by McDougall. Deflects through, almost a chance for Erdman, but not quite. Gurdon tries to pass it back in. It's deflected away and taken by Modigliano. Modigliano gets it into the neutral zone, but gets stood up as McDougall sends it back to the neutral zone, but it's knocked back into the Brookline end. Chasing after it is O'Brien. Erdman manages to get it out to the neutral zone where it's sent back to Aberbach and across to Parker. Parker's outlet pass intercepted by Erdman, but he's got to wait to prevent the offsides. Backhands it into the Wellesley end where it's taken by Aberbach. Pass intercepted by Tian. Taps it over to McDougall. McDougall lost control of it, has to reset to prevent the offsides. Lifts it into the Wellesley end where it skips past Aberbach, but he chases it down. Sends it around the back to Parker. Parker into the neutral zone. Misses everybody, and that's going to be icing. 1-0 the Wellesley lead off the power play goal by number 17, Toby Kelleher. Assisted by Patrick Maxwell. And possibly one more. It was just so hard to tell in that chaotic fray. 12:04 on the clock here in the second. Face-off won by Brookline. Goes back to Dylan Katz. Long shot deflected. Scrumming for it. Still scrumming for it. Ultimately recovered by Robbie Marshall. And he lifts it out to the neutral zone where it's corralled by James Redding. Almost stolen on a heads-up play by Nils Tellender. But Redding manages to avoid the pressure. But his lift goes over into the benches. This will lead to a face-off. So this will be a neutral end face-off. Ultimately corralled by Max McDonough and pushed into the Brookline end where Gurdon takes it. Gurdon scrumming with Marshall and a couple other players join the fray. Ultimately coming out with it is Gurdon. Lifts it, but it's taken. Long shot from Patrick Maxwell is deflected wide. Into the corner it goes. Approaching is Turner, walled off by Haas. Recovered by Marshall, another save by Haas, and he covers it up. This will be a Brookline end face-off with 11:27 on the clock here in the second. Face-off is won by Wellesley. Weird deflection off the shot from Riley. Now sent around the boards. Scrum for it. Riley almost had it, but it's poked away and taken by Marcus Pace. Pace sends it off the boards where it's taken by Parker. Parker sends it up, almost taken by Cooney, but the poke check gets it away. Ames lifts it into the Wellesley end, stopped by Monroe. Aberbach sends it around to Parker. Parker sends it into the neutral zone where Cooney taps it across to Riley. Aiden Riley makes the approach. Long shot saved by Haas. Recovered by Redding. Tries to clear. Deflects. Taken by Grady. Aims for a second. Knocked away from him. Now this is Riley making an approach. Crosser pass. Knocked away from Cooney. Recovered by Parker. Parker sends it ahead. Now sent out the back to Riley. Riley across. This is Sharp. Sharp dumps it off. Back to Sharp. Shot or almost a setup for Riley, but nothing quite there. Puck's taken away. This is Katz. Katz backhands it into the neutral zone, where it's ultimately corralled in the Wellesley end by Aberbach. Aberbach tries to send it off the boards. Modigliano takes it. Coming around the back. Passes it up to Parker. Parker takes it. Long pass into the neutral zone, and they're just going to let it go all the way to the Brookline end for an icing. .10:06 on the clock here in the second. 1-0 Wellesley off the power play goal from Kelleher. Face off, popped into the air. Gurdon keeps it in the attack end, gets it to McDougall. McDougall sends it around the boards. Patrick Maxwell got his stick on it, tried to move it. Maxwell moves it along, gets it up to Sharp. Sharp turns around, moves it into the Brookline end where it's taken by Gurdon. Gurdon clears it out to the neutral zone where it's stolen by Tien. Tien sends it into the Wellesley end, immediately taken by Patrick Maxwell. Lifted up for Sean Maxwell. Now over to Modigliano. Modigliano spun around by several collisions, and ultimately the loose puck taken by Sharp. Pass back, long shot, goes wide off the stick of Hamburger. Now another long insert deflected wide, recovered in the corner by Modigliano. Dumped off for, I want to say, Sean Maxwell, and now it goes back to Hamburger. Weird deflection, and Haas covers it up. Almost got another goal off a wild deflection there, as that's how they got their first. Wellesley doing a very effective job in the screen game so far. 9:13 on the clock here in the second. Face-off won by Brookline. Redding couldn't clear it. Stolen back by Turner. Shot off the side of the net. Turner sends it back around the boards. Chased down by Gongadarin. Tried to dump it off for Katz. Too much pressure. Attacking with it is Marshall. Marshall turns around, sends it around the boards for Turner. Turner trying to fend off the defense, but instead it's recovered by Gongadarin. Turner trying to stay with it, whiffed on the swing there, and it's taken by Henry Ames. Ames being pursued by Marshall. Now it's recovered by Lacey. Lacey's pass deflected. Aberbach lifts it into the Brookline end where it's taken by Haas, and he covers it up. .8:30 left here in the second period. Face-off corralled by Kelleher, sent back. Now sent around the boards by number 16, Diego Demio. Recovered by Riley. Riley sends it out the back where it's taken by Grady Ames. Kind of weird deflection off the clear attempt. Now a shot by Riley, saved by Haas. Sent around the boards now. It's recovered by Katz. Dumped off for Redding. Redding sends it around the boards. Walled off by number 12, Kellen Sharp. Now Kellen Sharp lifts it into the Brookline end where it's taken by Redding. Now around the boards it goes. Demio pushes it back into the corner. Still pursuing it. Demio takes a shot, saved by Haas. Now recovered by Max Guo. Guo gains the blue line. Guo tried a centering pass, but nobody was quite there. Now Kellen Sharp sends it around the boards. Cooney tries to move it along, walled off, I believe, by Tommy O'Brien. It's sent back around the boards where it's taken by Riley. Riley sends it all the way to the Brookline end, no icing. Noah Gurdon recovers it as Brookline finishes their line change. Pass walled off by Montaliano. Almost taken by Brody Sharp, instead taken by Tien. Pass up to McDougall. McDougall gets the legs taken out from under him. And there's no penalty call as it's recovered and kept on the attack by Tommy O'Brien. Now Patrick Maxwell tries to lift it out, walled off by O'Brien. Now Kellen Sharp lifts it out, taken by Sean Maxwell, passed across to Montaliano. He tried to push it forward for himself. Instead, it's going to be covered up by Haas. .6:45 on the clock here in the second period as we get ready for a Brookline end face-off. Face-off won by Brookline as Redding sends it around the boards. A little too far as Patrick Maxwell sends it. Has to be saved by Haas. Recovered by Redding. Redding lifts it around the boards, controlled by Tien. Again, Patrick Maxwell keeps it on the attack, lifts it into the corner. Katz sends it around this time, taken by Redding. Redding's pass deflected by Tellender, but recovered by McDougall. McDougall couldn't fend off Marshall. Marshall pass, almost a one-timer chance for Turner, and the rebound is knocked away by Katz. Now a scrum for the puck, and McDougall gets a pass away to Tien. Tien trying to fend off Patrick Maxwell. Tien, just not enough space there. Oh, he levels him! We're seeing some big hits here in the second period as Wellesley does get it out to the neutral zone. Redding tried to send it off the boards, but nobody was there. It's taken instead by Marshall. Marshall on the attack, pass for Tellender, and Tellender gets checked by Tien. McDougall recovers off the boards, gets it up to Tien. Tien knocks away a guy's stick as they're scrumming around the neutral zone for it. Parker trying to move it through the neutral zone. He does. Gets stood up by Gurdon as Henry Ames takes it, sends it around for Lacey. Lacey into the neutral zone where it's chased down in the Wellesley end by Oberbach. Long pass up to Cooney. Cooney's pass, nobody there, taken by Gurdon. Gurdon sends it up the boards where it's passed back to Oberbach. Now across to Parker. Parker off the boards finds Cooney. Cooney coming around, approach. Attempted pass walled off by Haas off the shot from Kelleher. Into the neutral zone it goes. Battle for the puck is won by Aiden Riley, but he gets swarmed. Henry Ames comes out with it, poked away by Cooney. Cooney making another approach. Cooney, a shot just barely blocked by Tommy O'Brien. Ames gets it up to Gongadarin. Gurdon tried to take it, instead it's stolen away by Kelleher, sent into the Brookline end. As Wellesley makes a line change. Ames lifts it up into the neutral zone where Montaliano takes it, pushes it back to the Brookline end, taken by Ames. Ames a long lift, walled off by Hamburger. Hamburger on the approach, dumps it off for Montaliano. Shot saved by Haas. Deflected into the neutral zone where it's chased down by Montaliano. Off the boards, it's taken by Gurdon. Gurdon fakes, now sends a long hit up into the neutral zone where it's deflected and taken by Patrick Maxwell. Lifted into the corner where Sean Maxwell is going to chase it down. Backhanded over to Brody Sharp. Sharp coming across, backhander deflected wide. Battle for the puck. Brody Sharp gets leveled by Noah Gurdon, but they're still scrumming for it. Ultimately taken by Brookline. Pace sends a pass across to Grady Ames. Ames pass deflected, and Montaliano tried to move it, but his hit was deflected. Now they're scrumming around the boards, and we got a player down. That's Grady Ames. getting back up as the whistle was blown. Things getting very physical in this one. We're seeing bodies fly. We're seeing sticks fly. And now, still no penalty calls since the early minutes. The officials are letting them play this one out here in the second. Scrum for the puck along the boards. And coming out with it, still scrumming for it as it goes to the corner. McDougall trying to backhand it along, still being walled off. Marshall tried to insert it. Weird deflection, a shot from Tellender is saved by Haas. Oh, a juicy chance, just barely walled off by Katz. Almost disastrous turnover there for Brookline. As now Redding lifts it out to the neutral zone. Redding still making his approach, now loses the puck, and it's taken back by Marshall. Wellesley on the counterattack, skating with it. Hard collision between Redding and Tellender. And it looks like, I think Tellender might be going to the box for that one. Or maybe nobody. That might actually be nobody, because that felt like very incidental contact. So I think they were just kind of stopping it because of the hard collision, but no penalty call. Aberbach lifts it into the Brookline end. Around the boards it goes. Now Gurdon sends it back around for Pace. Pace lifts it. Cooney tries to keep it in the attack, but it's taken by Grady Ames. Ames lifts it forward. It's taken by Parker. Pace tried to get it back on the attack, but Cooney takes it past for Riley. Shot, what a glove save by Haas. The freshman netminders continue to impress here in the second period with 2 minutes and 11 seconds left here in the second period. Face off. Katz battling Brody Sharp. Sharp wins the puck. Sharp trying to come through. Desperate shot while falling is walled off, I believe, by Jack Herman. Now Monteliano keeping it on the attack. Sends it around the boards. Walled off by Katz. Katz backhands it up to Erdman. Erdman backhand pass over to McDougall. Now over to Tien. Tien making his approach. Long shot turned away by Monroe. Rebound wasn't there. Recovered by Sean Maxwell. Sent up to Monteliano, who sends it off the boards and out of play. Neutral zone face-off coming up, 1:39 on the clock here in the second. Face-off is won by Brookline, but goes way out and back as Katz takes it. And Katz slips and falls, slipping in to take it. Oh my gosh, that went in! Robbie Marshall with the weirdest looking goal you are ever gonna see. Taking the swing at the puck off one knee, and it takes a weird deflection off the back of the pads of Craig Haas, and it goes into the net, and Wellesley goes up 2-0. So Wellesley scoring two of the weirdest goals I've ever seen in a hockey game, and they take the 2-0 lead. Parker passes it up to Turner. Turner making his approach into the corner. Attempted centering pass is broken up and ultimately taken by Pace. Pace ahead to Grady Ames. Ames gains the blue line. Ames coming around into the corner. Centering pass almost there, but not quite. Gurdon trying to press the issue, but couldn't do it. Gets up to Turner on the counterattack. Turner pass across. Patrick Maxwell dumps it back. Shot saved by Haas. Almost another one for Marshall, but a good pad save by Haas. And now this one is going to be an icing. 43.4 seconds left here in the second period. Wellesley now leads by 2, goals scored by Toby Kelleher and Robbie Marshall. Face-off corralled by Brookline. Reading sends it around the boards. Katz off the boards, gets it up to McDougall. McDougall dumps it back, misses. Tien taken back. This is Brody Sharp passing it for Sean Maxwell. Pulls up, shot off the crossbar and over. Now attempted insert by Patrick Maxwell is walled off by Tien, so he passes it across to Parker. Now stolen back by Tien. Maxwell takes it back, tries to lift it out, gets it out to the neutral zone. Oh, that's Sean Maxwell with it. I completely missed where he took it, but the shot went wide. Reinsert taken by Brody Sharp, trying to come out the back. Passes it back for Parker, and no time to get off another shot. And that is going to end the second period. Wellesley takes the lead off a pair of wild scores, one by Toby Kelleher and one by Robbie Marshall. The Raiders lead the Warriors 2-0 as we go into the second intermission. From Walter Brown Arena in Boston, Massachusetts, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I'll be back with the third period of this game. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, back on the mic. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan coming to you live from Walter Brown Arena on the campus of Boston University in Boston, Massachusetts. Getting ready to bring you the third period of this Division I varsity high school boys hockey contest between the hosting Brookline High Warriors and the visiting Wellesley High Raiders. Well, in a hard-fought defensive contest, Wellesley took the 2-0 lead in the second period off a couple of weird bounces that found the back of the net. One, just a really good heads-up deflection on a weird bouncing puck. That last deflection coming for the goal from Toby Kelleher. Just a really heads-up play there. And then a second goal scored by Robbie Marshall. You know, now I don't want to assume intent. It might have been that he was trying to send it off the back pads of goalie Craig Haas, but it looked more like he was trying to send a pass through the slot and just ended up getting a bit of a lucky bounce. Again, I can only guess. It could have been a very brilliantly clever play by Marshall, or it could have just been a lucky bounce. Either way, he gets credit for the goal. And Wellesley gets the 2-0 advantage over the Warriors as we head into the final period of regulation. And if Brookline's going to get back in this one, they have to generate some more offensive pressure. Now, they were generating some decent looks in the first period, but nothing really materialized for them offensively in the second period, as Wellesley sort of dominated the possession game from the jump. So Brookline is going to have to find something offensively if they're going to try and get back in this one. You know, I will give credit to the Brookline defense. They have looked much better than they looked on Wednesday against Weymouth. And so far, doing much better than the last time they played Wellesley, because I believe the last time they played Wellesley last season, it ended in a 5-0 loss to the Raiders. Obviously, still a period left to go. But so far, you know, I would give a pretty solid grade to the Brookline defense. Yes, they've struggled to clear the puck out of their own end, you know, which is something they've definitely got to work on as the season goes. But I think they've made a lot of really gritty stops. And yeah, against a team that last time they played them, they lost 5-0 on their home ice. That was this past February. Of course, before that, last December, they had a road game at Wellesley that they won 5-3. So hard to say what you're going to get in a game between Brookline and Wellesley. But Wellesley, a strong opponent. And ultimately, Brookline has just got to find a way to keep up the pressure and start doing a little bit better on the possession game. You know, they've got guys that can make some scrappy defensive plays and keep them in the contest. You know, Craig Haas has made some very nice saves. The defensemen have made some good interruptions of some offensive sequences. And the only goals they've let in so far have been, like I said, on a couple of weird bounces. You know, not to take credit away from Wellesley, especially that first goal was a very heads-up play, I think, by Kelleher. And like I said, for all I know, that was just a, you know, 300 IQ play by Marshall to score the second one. I don't know. You know, but the point is certainly not the kind of goals where you necessarily blame a lapse of defense for what happened. And certainly a different case from what we saw against Weymouth, where there were quite a few defensive breakdowns, particularly on the counterattack, that led to Weymouth putting 6 goals on the board against the Warriors in their season opener. But that said, while their defense is looking better, they've got to find that way to generate that extra pressure. You know, the defensemen got to find a way to more consistently clear the puck out to the neutral zone. And the forwards have to find a way to more consistently connect with each other in the transition game through the neutral and attack zone so they can generate more offensive pressure and more sustained offensive pressure, which of course also comes down to the defensemen as well. As on the offensive side, it's of course their job to prevent any of Wellesley's attempted clears. We see Craig Haas returning to the net for Brookline. While the other freshman netminder, Tucker Monroe, returns to the Wellesley net. 1 period to go here in this one, 15 minutes on the clock. Wellesley with the 2-goal lead. Brookline hoping to get back in this contest. The Raiders hoping to hold on for the win. Remember, if you enjoy this live stream, be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming live streams, including all BHS hockey home games, both boys and girls, throughout this winter season. And if you got anything to say, I encourage you to say it in the live chat. Looks like we're going to have the first lines facing off for Brookline, the McDougall, Tian, Erdman line against the Brody, Sharp, Modigliano, Sean Maxwell line for Wellesley. Here we go. Face off, won by Brookline, goes back to Gurdon. Gurdon's attempted move is walled off by Modigliano and sent into the Brookline end. Chasing it down around the back is Tommy O'Brien, sends it off the boards, interrupted by Brody Sharp. Knocked away from Sharp, though, taken by Erdman. Erdman lifts it, gets it to Tian. Tian sends a long pass ahead. McDougall pushes it forward. Knocked away by Monroe, and Auerbach sends it over to Parker. Attempted clear, recovered by Gurdon. Gurdon sends it through. Almost a deflection. Almost a chance for Tian, but well blocked by Monroe. Great puck movement early by Brookline. That was great coverage at the blue line by Noah Gurdon, and a great setup. Nice heads-up deflection by Connor Erdman. Almost set up a golden chance for Emmett Tian, but another great save by Tucker Monroe. Face-off won by Wellesley. Parker sending it around the boards. And it's going to go all the way down to the Brookline end, no icing. O'Brien gets there first, tries to lift it around. Turner takes it, centering pass intercepted by Gurdon. Off the boards, taken by Erdman. Erdman's pass stolen away by Marshall. Puck knocked away by Gurdon. Gurdon tries to clear it up the boards, does get it through to Erdman. Kicked ahead by Tian, but knocked back by Parker. And it's taken by O'Brien. O'Brien whiffs on the pass, so he desperately goes to the backhand, gets it to Erdman. Erdman lost it along the boards, but manages to kick it over to O'Brien. Sent around the boards for Tian. Tian lifts it into the neutral zone and could not be corralled by Turner, but now he takes it in his own end. Pass up, misses Tellender. Redding tries to clear it. Weird deflection, and it's taken by McDougall, and McDougall somehow steals it from under his feet. Pass ahead to Max Guo. Guo is walled off by Patrick Maxwell. Now Tellender takes it. Poke check away by Redding, and he backhands it around the boards. Getting there first is Wellesley, but the pass is walled off by Grady Ames. His pass misses Guo, and Patrick Maxwell going to take it around the back. Passes along the boards, gets to Turner. Turner dumps it off, pass broken up, but recovered by Patrick Maxwell. This pass is attempted clear by Redding, but Aiden Riley keeps it in the attack as he sends it around the boards. Toby Kelleher tried to chase it down, broken up by Katz. Now scrumming for it in the corner. Loose puck. Redding gets there first, gets it up to Guo, who gets it into the neutral zone, taken by Aberbach, across to Parker, and back into the Brookline end. Taken now by Redding, sent around the boards. Guo deflects it over to Katz. Katz sends it up to Henry Ames. Ames skating with it, trying to fight through several Raiders players. Just too many black jerseys in there, and it's taken ultimately by Aberbach. Pass goes up to Cooney. Will Cooney makes his approach, gets leveled by Noah Gurdon. That might be a delayed penalty pass through, just missed on the one-timer. It's going to be recovered by Cooney. And now Riley running out of room, passes around the corner. And Gon Gadarin touches it, and that's going to lead to a penalty call against Brookline. And I think that's going to be against Noah Gurdon again. As I think they might have called that he went high. And when you're that close to the boards in that kind of no man's land, that's just a little bit away from the boards, those high hits, they get very dangerous, and so the refs are going to call that every time. So that's going to be a 2-minute penalty on Gurdon, his second today. 11:59 on the clock as Wellesley goes on the power play. Parker skating with it around the point. Fakes, passes over to Sharp. Sharp, shot saved by Haas. Attempted clear is walled off by Sean Maxwell. Pass down to Modigliano. Back out to Maxwell, back to the point to Parker. Parker winds and fires, walled off by Redding. Recovered by Brody Sharp, back to Parker at the point. Parker looking around from the point. Pass across to Sharp. Sharp back to Parker. Parker again holding it at the point. Sends an awkward pass across to Sharp. Sharp takes it. Skating around the back as Wellesley resets. Swings it across to Parker. Parker, long pass through to Maxwell. Shot goes wide. Pretty nice recovery by Haas that didn't leave a huge opening for Maxwell on what almost looked like it was going to be a wide open shot. Sean Maxwell now skating with it again. Gains the blue line, but the puck goes without him. Katz taps it along for Redding. Redding, long clear out to the neutral zone, stolen by Tian. Emmett Tian on the breakaway, saved by Monroe. Recovered by Tian, tried to pass through, walled off by Parker. Modigliano gets it up to Maxwell. His pass walled off by Grady Ames. Grady Ames now approaching on the shorthand. Tried to pass through for Tian, broken up and recovered by Maxwell. Wellesley now skating on the counter. Maxwell caused the defender to slip. Shot saved by Haas. The second breakaway chance turned away by Tucker Monroe. How about the freshman netminders today? 14 seconds still on the penalty against Gurdon. 10:13 on the clock here in the period. Long pass back, and that shot is well wide. Recovered by Patrick Maxwell. Passed across. Now over a one-timer from Turner. Goes high. Recovered by Maxwell. Passes down to Marshall. Back to Maxwell. Winds up and fires. Misses wide. Recovered out the back by Turner. Turner sends it down to the circle to Marshall. Marshall sends it around the boards. O'Brien tried to clear it, but Turner steals it away. Pass through for Marshall. Marshall weaving through, and he gets it in. Looked like Haas was going to steal it, but he just snuck it through his legs. And Wellesley's got their second power play goal. Robbie Marshall with his second goal of the day. And actually, that might have been on even strength. I'm not sure precisely when the penalty ended because I was following the puck. But either way, the penalty definitely played a role in that. 9:36 on the clock here in the third. as Kelleher lifts this one into the Brookline end, chased down by Gurdon, sent around, scrumming for it, coming out with it is Riley. Riley tries to make an approach, just couldn't quite get it there. Long pass from Erdman to Tien. Tien fighting with it across the blue line off sides. Robbie Marshall now with 2 goals today as Wellesley leads Brookline 3-0. Face-off is pushed into the Wellesley end. Attempted clear is deflected, but taken by Cooney. Long pass up to Riley. Riley gets stood up by O'Brien. Long pass off the boards, and it's going to be recovered by McDonough. Sent around the back and walled off. Stolen by Erdman. Try to pass to the middle. It's deflected and caught by Monroe. A little bit of extracurriculars at the end of that play there as we get ready for a Wellesley end face-off. Face-off is won by Wellesley, but scrummed for and won by Henry Ames. Ames sends a pass around the back, not there. Goes around the boards now. Mottoliano pushes it up ice. Race to the puck, and that is going to be an icing as the race was just barely won by Reading. So we'll have another Wellesley end face-off with 8:34 on the clock here in the third period. Face-off won by Wellesley. Aberbach sends it around the boards for Sean Maxwell. Lifted up, given to Brody Sharp. Sharp making his approach, tries to pass, walled off by Katz. Recovers it, but he gets smushed to the boards by Katz and Henry Ames. Loose puck taken by Katz. Katz gets checked into the boards, and Sean Maxwell sends it down to the corner where it's taken by Reading. Reading lifts it up ice to Lacey. Lacey deflected away from him, now stolen by Maxwell. Shot off the pole! Recovered by Mottoliano. Pass back, long shot, goes wide. Gadarin had it for a second, but now stolen away. Slipped and fell was Sharp. But Wellesley keeps the puck. Pass up to Maxwell. Pass back, taken by Parker. Parker skating around, fires, saved by Haas. Now sent back to Aberbach. Pass deflected away by Lacey into the neutral zone as Brookline tries to make a quick change. Pass up to Turner, now taken by Marshall and offsides. .7:26 to go here in the third. Face-off. Corralled by the Raiders as Marshall lifts that into the Brookline end where it's taken by Gurdon. Sent weird ricochet off a skate, and it's pushed back around where it's taken by Gadarin. Off the boards, Guo had it for a second. Now Grady Ames lifts it into the neutral zone. Sent back around by Demio. Now Tellender takes it, attempted centering pass, gets to Marshall. Marshall comes around one, backhanded pass, misses the mark, goes around the back. Taken by Turner, pass for Tellender, broken up from him. And taken now by Guo. Guo passes up, making the approach is Gurdon. Gurdon skating around, pass down, just off the mark. Scrumming for it now. Ultimately recovered by Wellesley. They try and lift it up the boards, but still scrumming for it now. Coming out with it is Turner. Turner sends it off the boards. Disrupted. He gets leveled by Tommy O'Brien. Now taking it is Demio. Brookline trying to keep up the forecheck here. As Kellen Sharp dumps it off for Demio. Sent up to Tellender. Tellender just avoids the check from Tien. and gets it back to Demio, who sends it around the boards. Brookline keeping on the attack. Demio sends it around. Erdman walls it off. Erdman tries to send a pass through, just not there. Kellen Sharp lifts it up to Cooney. Cooney off to the races. Cooney in the corner, coming around the back. Now Cooney gets sandwiched between a couple Brookline defenders. Katz comes out of the scrum with the puck, trying to fend off the forecheck. It's knocked back to Katz, sent around the back to Gurdon. Gurdon, long pass up to Erdman. Erdman, hard pass goes off the boards and is covered up by Haas. 5:24 on the clock here in the third. Face-off is won by Wellesley. A long shot deflected wide. Modigliano taps it back to Patrick Maxwell. Almost deflected through, but not quite. Loose puck is taken by Henry Ames. Lifted up a little too far, and it's going to go down to the Wellesley end, where Patrick Maxwell is going to send it around the boards. Dylan Katz keeps it on the attack. Tries to push it up, but it's recovered by Brody Sharp. Sharp skating with it, dumps it off for Patrick Maxwell. Maxwell, long pass misses Sean Maxwell, and that's going to be icing. Again, you can see moments where Brookline is able to generate that offensive pressure, but they've got to find a way to keep it up. Face-off is won by Wellesley. Wellesley's been dominating on the face-offs here today, as this one is pushed out to the neutral zone and controlled by Sean Maxwell. Maxwell passes to Modigliano, lost control of it before he could get a shot off. And it's knocked away by Grady Ames. Now Katz with it, sends it around the back. Nobody was quite ready for it. Taken now by Guo. Into the neutral zone, taken by Patrick Maxwell. Sent into the Brookline end, taken by Redding. Pass misses Katz. So Katz sends it around the boards, where it's walled off. Patrick Maxwell lifts it back into the Brookline end. A backhanded pass, nobody there. Taken by Grady Ames. Ames skating through the neutral zone, lifts it into the Wellesley end, and that's going to be icing. Ames was trying to insert it into the Wellesley end while they made a line change, but just too far out. And he gets the icing call, so we'll have a Brookline end face-off. Face-off won by Brookline. Gurdon tries to lift it out, but it's walled off. Long shot goes wide. Recovered by Tellender. Pass is deflected. Stolen away by Tien. Tien making an attack here. Tien coming across. Pass through. Almost knocked into by Erdman. McDougall keeps up the pressure, but it goes wide. Another big save by Monroe. Now it goes back. Gurdon, long shot goes high over the bar. Turner skating on the counterattack, gains the blue line. Stood up by Gurdon. Now pass goes around to Marshall, stolen away by Gurdon. Pass goes off the skate of Erdman. Erdman recovers, manages to get a pass away to Gurdon. Gurdon sends it off the boards for McDougall. McDougall makes his approach, dumps it back for Tien. Tien trying to weave his way through, too much traffic. Now Parker taking it on the counter, gains the blue, manages to get a pass away to Marshall. Marshall making an approach, couldn't stay with the puck. Chase it down in the corner, dumps it off. We got a scrum for it. And ultimately it's lifted up ahead. Still scrumming for it, and ultimately it goes around the back where Gurdon is going to take it. But Turner trying to apply that forecheck. Gurdon again comes out with it. Pass along for Erdman, but stolen away by Kelleher. Passed back to Tellender. Now across to Auerbach. Auerbach's shot blocked by Gurdon. Sent around. Now a scrum between McDougall and Kelleher, with O'Brien and Cooney joining the fray. Coming out with it is O'Brien, but Cooney stays with him. And we got another scrum for it. Puck squirts out, and it's taken by Gurdon. Gurdon, his pass walled off. He stays with it, tries to move it. Tien manages to move it into the neutral zone, where it's taken by the Raiders. Moved into the neutral zone, and we got more scrums for the puck. Taken now by Gurdon. Gurdon's pass walled off by Cooney, and now taken by Kelleher. Kelleher, a shot saved by Haas. Kelleher rebounds, tries a pass, nobody there. And we got to stop as the net comes off its hinges again. Noah Gurdon a little slow to get up. Hopefully that's not anything major. Noah Gurdon doubled over there on the Brookline bench. Here's hoping he's okay. Face-off won by Wellesley. Montaliano sends it over the top. Rebound chased down by Pace. Lifts it all the way down to Monroe, who taps it off for Patrick Maxwell, who sends it around. Almost stolen by Grady Ames, but lost his footing. Henry Ames was staying with it. Now it's dropped down by Pace. Grady Ames tried to move it along. Instead, it's taken by Brody Sharp. And now poked away by Henry Ames. And it's going to be taken in the neutral zone by Redding. Passed across for Katz. Katz sends it into the Wellesley end where Patrick Maxwell takes it, tries to clear it out. Weird deflection. And Redding launches it back into the Wellesley end. Goes into the corner where once again it's taken by Maxwell. Maxwell pass up to Montaliano. Long pass finds Sean Maxwell. Now across to Sharp. Sharp making his approach. Coming around the back. Tries to turn around. Looking for a lane now taken by Montaliano. Shot saved by Haas. Attempted clear. Taken by Sean Maxwell. Almost snuck one past Haas, but missed it wide. Now out of the scrum, McDougall sends it into the neutral zone. Broken up, recovered by Katz. Katz trying to send it again. Again walled off on the outlet pass. Patrick Maxwell sends it up. Deflected but taken by Sean Maxwell. Maxwell sends it down to the deep to the Brookline end where it's taken by McDougall. Pass up, misses Erdman, taken by Maxwell. Maxwell sending it around the boards. And they continue to scrum for the puck as that is going to end this game. The final score here at Walter Brown. The Wellesley High Raiders 3. The Brookline High Warriors 0. Another tough outing for the Warriors. But important to remember that outside of some of their top players, they are a very young team. You know, three of their top 6 forwards are sophomores. Connor Erdman, Grady Ames, and Max Guo, all sophomores. And then, of course, 2 of their top 4 defensemen, also underclassmen, also sophomores, Thomas O'Brien and Dylan Katz. So a relatively young Brookline squad. And there's plenty they've got to work on. There's plenty of good to be seen. You know, like I said, I think Craig Haas is doing a pretty solid job for a freshman netminder so far. I think he made a number of nice saves. You know, just a couple of unlucky bounces and then one really nicely executed goal on that third goal by Robbie Marshall. Just a really nice move across the slot. And then, of course, I think there's plenty of talent across the board for Brookline. It's just got to find the way to execute it. I mean, Noah Gurdon is probably got the most all-around talent among Brookline's defensemen. You know, there are just times where he gets a little over-eager, either when making an offensive approach and leaving Brookline more vulnerable to the counterattack, or when getting too physical and committing penalties, as that proved fairly costly for the Warriors in this game today. You know, I think, you know, like I said, a lot of the lower forward lines, they got a lot of youth on there, still trying to figure things out. You know, and I think with all these new lines, Brookline's just got to find more time to work on the chemistry between their line mates, start being able to string some more passes together without, you know, being walled off by the opponent or deflecting it off of themselves, whatever it is needed to get more of the precision that they need to keep moving that puck along. But the potential is there. Like I said, Noah Gurdon, a very talented two-way defenseman. You know, I think guys like Thomas O'Brien and James Redding and Dylan Katz, all three have a good nose for the puck defensively as more traditional stay-at-home defensemen. You know, Steve McDougall and Emmett Tian, if you watched them at all last year, you know the talent that they have, and I know that talent is still there. You know, I think we see flashes from that second forward line of Ames, Pace, and Guo. Again, just got to put it together and find that way to finish. So, yeah, there's promise there. But got to find a way to put it together. So far, 2 games in, Brookline 0-2. As this one ends in a loss. 2 goals scored by Robbie Marshall, 1 by Toby Kelleher for the Wellesley Raiders as they take the win. We got one last comment in the live chat. Are you going to film the baseball games this year? And, I mean, if the baseball team hires me, which I expect them to, I have a pretty good relationship with the BHS baseball team, then I have every expectation that I'll be covering baseball again this spring. But for right now, in the midst of this winter season, for this game, that is the final. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. If you enjoyed this broadcast, be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming live streams, which includes all home games for BHS boys and girls hockey this winter. Be sure to stay tuned for those. Subscribing to the channel can help. And then if there's anything you'd like to say, but the live stream is over, I encourage you to say it in the comment section down below. And you can also go down below to the description section of the video to check out all the information you need. Website and phone number for our local charity spotlight, the Brookline Community Foundation. Find out how you can help contribute to the BCF Scholarship Fund for Brookline High School and some of the other good grants and initiatives meant to help promote opportunity and equity throughout the town of Brookline. And then check out the bottom right corner of your screen, the URL to my personal website, jessesports.com. You can find out more about me, the freelance sportscasting services that I provide, and how you can commission those services for your favorite team or player. Below that, my email address, jgms88@gmail.com. If you want to just contact me directly with any questions or requests you may have. Below that, the URL to my Instagram account, instagram.com/jgms88, where I sometimes post highlights from previous live streams. But for this live stream, that is going to end it. Wellesley 3, Brookline 0. From Walter Brown Arena in Boston, Massachusetts, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you all for watching, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.